clients that are in there, bless their hearts, they didn't want to be there. Right. So I'm just going like, what is going on? Like, why are you guys even here then? If you don't even want to be here, like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what would be the purpose of being here then? Right. They'd be looking at their watches. When are we getting out of here? You know, when's the day going to be over? And so I came to understand and learn that these were clients that were being brokered, right? So they were getting paid to be in treatment. And I'd never heard of that before. And then I had a client there that died because of it, because these clients were getting brokered. They were getting sent to like a trap house, you know, to get high and then put the whole thing, the shuffle, right? And so I quit. Like right when I found out about that, we were in a staff meeting and I pretty much threw my hands in the air and said, fuck you guys, and walked out. How many cameras? 1, 2, 3, 4.
This one's on you.
Yeah.
You can talk to me though.
Don't talk. I had a guest come on, and I've said it every time since this happened. But she came on and she just did this the whole time and just talked straight in her camera. And you're like asking, you know, and she's just right there.
Yeah.
So.
You can even like guests will like when you do move, just grab the mic. Take the mic.
Okay.
Or just eyeball me sideways like this. Dry your eyes out. What's your name?
My name is Jenny.
I'm Shane.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Have
too.
you guys ever met before?
No.
No.
No? Oh, awesome.
You've been here for how long?
Couple of years.
Couple of years.
Yeah.
And you do admissions.
I do
director of
admissions. Well, let's not go that far.
Oh, okay.
Let's just say I answer the telephones. And
He just started answering the telephones, though, actually.
Yeah.
He came back on as what? I don't know what.
Nothing really, just kind of
and then we worked hard to get the VA contract.
Yeah. More an advisor role.
Yeah.
I think.
So you guys were friends prior? And
Yeah.
Let's call it acquaintances.
Acquaintances.
Yeah. We used to yell at each other on the phone.
Yeah, I could hear something in that. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
There's more to it than that.
There's a lot more to it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like
we've been together for 12, 13 years now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Not together.
Okay.
He always says that.
I'm not shy.
Not
That's
shy.
okay. He's shy.
Not shy.
He's
I am
a little shy. See, he's blushing. I made him blush.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
I mean, I can really tell some stories, Shane. So
yes,
don't
you could.
Fuck with me.
You could. You could.
Oh, and you can curse on yours. That's nice.
Oh yeah.
Did I say
curse?
a lot?
Did I say
no, not on mine.
You said the F word.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's becoming part of your vocabulary.
Normal vocabulary again. I don't cuss, which is funny. And people were like, you guys are a little bit boring. Like my nephew.
Yeah.
Our first couple podcasts, he was like, you guys are a little bit boring. You need
Shake
to
it up a little.
Spice it up a little bit. So I was like, fuck
Make it
yeah.
more like real life, he said.
We're like, fuck. Okay, now we're good.
Yeah.
We can't do it at all.
He said we're funnier than we were the first 10 or 12 podcasts because we weren't ourselves.
Yeah, he was saying we weren't ourselves.
Kinda,
and I agree.
Yeah, we weren't.
I was offended, but then I was like, you know what? He's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we weren't ourselves.
My nephew has zero problem offending people, though.
Zero.
Right?
Zero. He says anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like about Zach.
I love that.
Oh, thank God you. I was gonna say his name too because I wanted to make sure that everybody knew it was Zach and not Mackenzie or Austin.
It's you, Zach.
This is how we start. Michelangelo, are we live?
Oh yeah.
We are.
Is that your real name, Michelangelo?
That's his first name.
Oh wow.
He's got a last name. It's long.
No, it's not. It's short.
No, I'm joking.
He can't even. You know, at the DMV when you're putting in your name, his whole name doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Is that true?
The struggle.
Yeah. So how do you get it all on your license or your driver's license? One time.
Technically, on legal documents, my name is spelled wrong on all of them, so that's not legally me.
Yeah.
That's my loophole.
Thank God.
God, there's no loopholes, bro.
This is why it goes 2 hours.
Yeah.
Though. Do you understand now?
Yeah. Because we just have fun.
I mean, I think on your podcast you get straight to the point.
It used to be longer, like probably about 45 minutes to an hour. But now we just shortened it up. We found that when we were watching the reports, that people weren't watching for long.
Yeah.
Like they'd tune in for a little bit and then they would get bored and log off.
My mom watches the whole thing.
But you know what? You know what? The reports,
So does my mom.
and I don't know if the analytic reports give it all, but I watched the whole thing. But it takes me like a couple different tries. Like I watch 20 minutes while I'm getting ready in the morning, and 20 minutes when I'm over here, 10 minutes when I'm driving in the car.
You watch your own podcast?
Yeah.
I can't watch mine.
Oh, really? He
I can't.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like how I sound. I'm like, oh, do I really sound like that?
I don't mind the sound, just the look, the lines and the look.
How about this? Because you can hear your actual voice in the headphones. How do you feel about that?
It's amazing.
She's having a good time.
Like, oh God, here we go. I can hear myself.
Yeah.
So
What do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I do?
We don't have to start from the beginning either. We can.
No.
We like to jump around.
Yeah, we will jump around.
Yeah, that's
Jump around. Jump around. Jump.
What do you do for a living?
So, well, I do a few different things. I'm the director of business development over at the Edge Treatment Center. So I do that, and that's pretty much a full-time job. And then I have a sober living house. So I have a woman's sober living house that I run out in Fountain Valley. And I do a podcast. So that takes up a lot of time too, but I'm not filming every day like you guys. Like when you told me that you guys film every day, I was like, holy smokes. Like we do one show a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're addicted to this though.
What? I mean,
Just the intimacy and the head and the system, the setup.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
It's great that you can do it every day. So you do one show every day. Is that like
We do
Monday
whatever
through
he
Friday?
says.
Just whatever you want to do, you do it. Just one show a day though, right? Or do you do
We
more
drop
than
one show a day.
Yeah.
But we're like 12 shows ahead right now because I'm going on vacation in May, beginning of May. So
Without me.
today we have 3.
You have 3 shows today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long
10.
day.
12 and 1.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Hopefully one of us doesn't turn into Betty White.
Right?
It's usually me because if I don't eat, I get really grumpy.
That's like me too, for sure. Get that hangry going on.
Yeah.
Yesterday we tried to podcast my daughter, and I was like,
Aw.
I changed my like meal prep.
Yeah.
And I was like grumpy as fuck. And the two of them, they were just like trying. I don't know what they were doing.
We were just trying
Yeah,
to do it without you.
it wasn't
hard.
It wasn't
I was
going
trying to do
well.
it without you, but it was impossible.
Yeah.
It was like driving a tricycle with no left wheel or
That-
front wheel.
That's difficult.
It's tough.
Yeah, challenging. for
You know,
sure.
it's like when there's music but no words.
Right,
or words,
right.
but you know,
Yeah, it doesn't really.
it doesn't.
Go
Yeah.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna just ask, how'd you get into the business?
Yeah, so for me, I come from a totally different background. And when I got sober, I had that aha moment while I was in detox and knew that in one form or another, I needed to work in the field of helping others. My story is pretty intense, and as everybody's is. And I knew I needed to do something completely different, and I knew I needed to help others. And so that's what I did. While I was in detox, I started looking into school, went back to school right when I graduated the program, and was an intern at 9 months sober, which I would not recommend doing that.
Right.
Ever. It was not the right move, but in any case, it's part of my story and it's what I did, but I was not ready for it. Like the first, I'd say like 2 years of my recovery, I was working in treatment, but I was still a mess,
Right.
like emotionally relapsing probably every week, going through a divorce, like all this crazy stuff, and trying to help sick people at the same time. So
When you're still sick,
when I'm still sick. Yeah. So
That
you
could've
might
been what
have
saved
been
you, though.
just that much better than that person. Though,
Yeah,
and that's what
that's-
they needed.
Exactly.
yeah, maybe that's one way to look at it. I'll
That's
take
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Yeah.
I like
you
to
had
change.
God-
I like to change
Yeah.
perception
Yeah.
Yeah.
or perspective, either one.
Perspective, yeah, both are good to
Yeah.
change. Yeah.
Mindset.
Mindset.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And I went back to school, started working in the field, and I knew nothing about treatment. Like I wasn't some treatment kid. I didn't go to a bunch of facilities. I went to Cliffside, Malibu back in 2009, stayed for 28 days, left and got high. And then went to treatment again, like 6.5 years ago. And so I wasn't a treatment person. I didn't understand. And I didn't know like that whole world. And so when I started working in treatment, I had to kind of sift through the different places and figure out like who's a good guy and who's not. And that kind of put me on this mission too, to be a role model and somebody in the industry that works with integrity and morals, which can be hard to find in this scene. So the first place I worked at, I was a case manager, and they're out of business now. It was in Huntington Beach. They're completely out of business. And I could feel something was going on that wasn't normal, right? Like my gut was telling me something's not as it should be, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. And they just threw me into group 4 hours a day, right off the jump. So here I am, like newly sober, intern, not knowing treatment, and I'm doing 4 hours a group a day. And these clients that are in there, bless their hearts, they didn't want to be there, right? So I'm just going like, what is going on? Like, why are you guys even here then? If you don't even want to be here, like this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what would be the purpose of being here then, right? They'd be looking at their watches. When are we getting out of here? You know, when's the day going to be over? And so I came to understand and learn that these were clients that were being brokered, right? So they were getting paid to be in treatment. And I'd never heard of that before. And then I had a client there that died because of it, because these clients were getting brokered. They were getting sent to like a trap house, you know, to get high and then put the whole thing, the shuffle, right? And so I quit. Like right when I found out about that, we were in a staff meeting and I pretty much threw my hands in the air and said, fuck you guys, and walked out. And went to a couple other places that weren't as bad, but weren't great either. And then I landed at the Edge Treatment Center as a case manager in 2017. And at that point, it was a very small company. They had just started in the last year or two before that. And I had 2 clients on my caseload. Like that was it, and did groups. And then I left just because of the hours. They go till 9 o'clock at night. And at that time, my son was like 7. I wasn't going to work 12 to 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So I went elsewhere. And then I came back to do business development right when COVID hit. So I was telling him that it was
tough
quite,
call.
to say the least. Yeah, it was not easy doing it that way. People didn't want to meet. You know, everyone was doing Zoom, and I'm trying to like get my feet wet in that world, you know, and that's a whole other thing too, business development.
Right.
You know, so that's when I started doing a lot of social media stuff. So it started with me just going on my phone, just on my cell phone, and I would just go live to Facebook and just try to connect with people. And I would just have a topic, kind of like a group, like, oh, we're going to talk about mindfulness, or we're going to talk about whatever it may be, right? And then it started picking up some traction, and people were tuning in and watching it and sharing it. And I started thinking, okay, there's something to this. Why don't we do like an actual show where I interview people? And, you know, we can have people in recovery, people that aren't in recovery. Are your people that come on here, are they all in recovery?
No,
or is it
matter.
like, it's a mix?
It's a mix.
Just hope.
Just hope.
Yeah.
It's nice you
Mental
reinvented
health.
yourself during the time of isolation, though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a positive, right?
Yeah,
like
of course.
people have these horror stories during COVID. And for me, I took something negative and made it positive.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, not everyone that comes on my show is in recovery too. Most of them are, but not everybody. And it's not a requirement, that's for sure. As long as they have something that they're passionate about, then, you know, come on, talk about it, or something educational. But yeah, so I started doing the show, and that just took off. And for me, because I was new to, I feel like I'm like talking into it, and then I don't talk into it.
No, you're perfect.
I'm fine.
Yeah, no, I still hear you good.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably just me. And so
Every once in a while, it does something weird, like when you're talking, and I'll hear it too when I'm talking.
like you
It
go
almost
quiet.
sounds like
almost.
I cut. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like when I turn my head like this.
that's
No,
still
but
good.
it's still the same. Or like this. Yeah.
That
okay.
gets a little bit less, but
But yeah, it was great for me because it was like a walking resume. Like people didn't really know who I was in the industry at all. And so when I started doing that, people were like, oh, that's Jenny from the show. And you do those live videos. And so it really helped, you know, because it's tough getting to know everybody and all that stuff. So
it's almost impossible.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, it was way different because I've been in the industry for 22 years now. And I know everybody because conventions used to be really cool. And that's actually where you went to learn how to be a better business owner, business development. They didn't call them BD reps. There was that term, and I actually don't like that term because that term came about because the word referent became a bad word.
Because it didn't used to be, right?
No,
like
you were called a what was it? Marketing?
Marketing.
marketer.
Yeah, marketing.
I forget exactly what it was, but it was marketing, not a consultant.
Okay. Not that one either.
No, but it was like director of marketing.
Yeah,
something like that. Now it's like everybody and their mom is the director of business development, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a loose term, and I still think that some of the people that are business development reps or BD reps for short, I just don't like it.
Yeah, we actually changed the name like to what was it? We just recently changed it. Now I'm drawing a blank as to what we changed it to. It'll come to me at some point. But yeah, the BD reps in Orange County, I mean, there's great people out there, but
Yeah, for sure.
it's
There's still a bunch of people that aren't great though.
it's very incestual. Like the first event I ever went to for business development, I took the clinical director with me because I thought that's what you're supposed to do, like show up with someone from clinical, right?
That's what you used to do.
Actually have like an educated conversation and like talk about your program. And I showed up to this event and walk in and people are just like lounging together on the couch, like legs wrapped over each other, and everyone, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever experienced.
Oh, wow.
And the clinical director was like, Jenny, why'd you bring me to this? I'm like, okay, let's go. So yeah, it's been interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I got to bring back the professionalism of this. You can still have fun and be professional. Like we're kind of like idiots on here, but then if you see me outside of here, I'm in a tie and dressed professional. But on the show, I was like, I don't think that you might attract like some therapists and people like that if I'm dressed like that, but that's not really who we're looking for. We're looking for people that need treatment.
Yeah.
We want people that have been through the fentanyl war themselves and can relate to why we started this podcast.
I think being relatable is really important, especially on something like this.
Yeah.
Suit and tie. I mean, it's maybe for some people, but not for the ones you're trying to reach out to. Yeah.
No, and I feel like, maybe a lot of the younger therapists and, master's level people, they dress kind of
casual.
Chill. Yeah. My staff does. I mean, we have a, semi-professional dress here, but not on Fridays.
Yeah, no, I'm very casual on
we
Fridays.
have
Usually I'm way more casual than this, like
Shorts
sweats or
Fridays.
something. Shorts Fridays?
Shorts on Friday.
We don't do shorts here, though.
Tommy was wearing shorts last Friday. He was. I told him he's got terrible legs. Terrible legs. He had a big bruise on his inner thigh.
Oh, no.
Tommy, no more shorts. This is to you. Sorry, Tommy. I love you, buddy.
So, where was I? Talking about business development.
Yeah, you went into that meeting. You went
and
into the meeting, and then you and the clinical director left.
Yeah, so that was my first experience, but I mean, all in all, it's been good, right? I've made a lot of great relationships, met a lot of people all over the country. I feel like I'm pretty successful at doing it, so it's been good.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thanks.
How'd you get to rehab? I want now we're gonna go all the way.
Are we gonna get into the juicy stuff?
Yeah, rewind.
The juicy stuff.
The juicy stuff.
What? Because here aren't you from Canada or something like that?
Really? Where from?
Vancouver.
Wow, good
Have
part.
you been there?
I'm from Winnipeg.
Really?
Born.
No way.
Yeah, born. I came here when I was
what did I
like
call
15
you?
years ago. Ken Seeley.
I called you Ken. Right
Yes, call me Ken Seeley.
What just happened?
A lot of weird shit
I
happened.
transformed to Ken Seeley.
You don't look anything like
Come
Ken Seeley.
on.
Sorry.
All right.
So you're from Winnipeg.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Do you have citizenship here?
I do. Yeah.
He's Canadian, eh?
Canadian.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
How
that.
about you? You got citizenship?
No, I don't want it.
Why?
Because you can only have citizenship in 2 places, right?
In 2?
Yeah, what the heck?
What's your second?
So I have my euro. I'm getting my euro.
Oh, you have your euro.
So I have family in Italy.
Yes.
So
So does Chad.
you have family in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So family in Italy, right?
Yeah.
So I've got my family in Canada.
Yeah.
And then I've got my family in Italy.
Yeah.
So I'll have my Canadian citizenship, my euro,
Yeah.
and then I hold a permanent green card here.
Oh, nice.
So I can flee
You
easily
can flee. Yeah.
to Canada or Europe.
Nice.
Because if shit's going to hit the fan, it's going to hit here.
Yeah, it's going to hit here first.
So yeah, that's,
Yeah, I'd go
that's why I
Canada.
did that.
Yeah.
You'd go to Canada?
I'd go Canada. More land. You can hide.
Eh?
You can't hide in Europe anywhere.
I mean, maybe.
No place to hide.
But yeah, it's funny because when I talk to my family back in Canada now,
Yeah.
their accent, like I was talking to
I
my cousin the
know.
other day, and I'm like, what the hell?
Right?
He was like, hey, how's it going, eh?
It's
You know, like it's like this
It's
weird
true.
thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. I don't think I ever talk like that though.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Not from Vancouver, the West Coast. It's like out here.
It's the line on California.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not like Minnesota or North Dakota, Winnipeg.
Yeah.
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 You
totally
say
different.
you say funny stuff sometimes.
Just every now and then.
Yeah, like out.
Out.
You don't-
Out,
He doesn't
about.
say
I go
out.
out and about.
Out and about.
Out and about.
And then you have like the slang, like, you know what you call a beanie.
What do you call a beanie? Toque.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
about underwear?
Underwear? Long?
No.
Gotchis?
Close. A
Tell me.
ginch.
A gitch.
A ginch.
Gitch.
Ginch.
We call it gitch. Gitch or gotchis.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
close.
You want to
Yeah.
know what he calls a backpack?
A knapsack.
Yes.
hmm
You see?
I think we
See,
had
it's
this
a real
conversation
thing.
on the podcast,
not
like,
crazy.
right? That the other
Yes, we
day,
did.
you were like
Knapsack.
something about
It's a
your
knapsack.
knapsack, and
It's
I
a
was like,
knapsack.
"What the fuck is?" I knew what a knapsack was because
He just likes making fun.
yeah, I
He
do.
likes to poke.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
lots
yeah.
of good words.
Yeah, when funny stuff comes up, you got to poke it.
Gotta poke.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
yeah.
the person sitting there in your seat didn't know what a knapsack was.
No.
I
Had no idea. Fucking Americans.
know.
Jesus.
My
bad in
dad's a
geography,
Canadian
bad in all of
immigrant.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where from?
Saskatoon.
Saskatoon, yeah.
Saskatoon.
Okay. Yeah. The other side too.
Yeah.
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 Up in the middle.
Up in the middle.
Yeah. My sisters, I have 2 sisters. They have dual citizenship. They're Canadian and American.
I lived in Vancouver for 2 years.
Mm.
Ah, fucking almost killed me.
Why?
I
Because,
was doing crack out there.
okay.
They have crack out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you do
yeah.
drugs in Canada?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So raised in Canada, I left when I was 19 and I left with a suitcase by myself to come to LA to do a TV show and married an American I didn't know for a green card.
Wow.
So to rewind
a
how
good
it
time.
got there,
Jesus.
right? it's quite the story.
Wow. How'd you meet the guy?
I met him through a friend. He's a big photographer out here.
Mhm.
And so my friend was a model and she's like, "Oh, I go to LA to shoot with this guy
Mm-hmm.
and you should meet him." And so
He's looking for a wife.
he's looking for a wife.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a bad
Just-
decision to
yeah,
say the least.
Think?
It was my first marriage. It was very
Oh,
short-lived.
the first successful marriage.
Yeah.
You've had a few?
2.
Two
Yeah.
successful marriages. Okay.
Very successful.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. But no, raised in a little suburb of Vancouver. Mom, dad, brother. But my story starts with a lot of trauma. So I was abused for 8 years in my childhood, under the roof by a family member. So that's what led me into my addiction at a very young age. So
Yeah.
I didn't have like an understanding of what love was supposed to be because of what happened. I mean, it started when I was 3 years old. At 3 years old, I didn't even know it was happening, but it came out later in reports, babysitters and things like that, like noticing what was going on. And then I went to the police at 12 and then that person was taken in. But, you know, for many, many years, that was my reality. And when it's an interesting dynamic when something like that happens in your family system, you know, under your own roof, because it's a family member and someone that you're supposed to love, and this is happening. So when that happens at such a young age, you don't really understand what love is. You get over-sexualized, like all these things start happening. And so that's what led me down the road. It definitely triggered all of that stuff. So I know I had the ism way before, like when I was like 6 years old. Like I look back at my life and the things that I was doing. Like I would take a bottle of like chewable vitamin C and I'd go into the bathroom and sit in the bathtub and like eat vitamin C, like half a bottle or whatever I would do, just that ism, like, I gotta have it, never enough. And then I started babysitting these kids across the street. So I was making like $20 a week. Really, I don't even know why they let me do it. I was like 10 years old, but anyways, the next door neighbor let me do it. And I would get my money, and we lived right on the greenbelt. Like there was a river right behind our house. So I would take that money and I'd go running up this trail to this little corner store, and I would buy, those little like keys, like sour keys or like sour peaches that you used to get when you were little. Get them for like 5 cents each. You know what I'm talking about?
Were these Canadian?
No.
They had them.
You know what I'm talking about?
Little sour candies.
Little sour candies. Yeah. And so I wouldn't buy like a couple. I would buy the whole container.
The plastic container.
And they would know I was coming, and they would like bring it from the back and it'd be sealed.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd buy the whole container, and I would take it home and eat the whole container and then wait till the next week and do it again. So definitely had the ism. And then with everything that happened, it just like ignited that fury and chaos. And so, I started doing drugs when I was 11 years old. I was a partier for sure. So I was prescribed at a young age Xanax. Pretty much all of my drug abuse started being prescribed by a doctor and then led into other things. So prescribed Xanax because of everything that was going on. Then I got into the rave scene. So you're on the other side of the country.
Yeah, we raved.
So the rave scene in Vancouver in the 90s.
It's crazy.
I just dated how old I am probably.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
A lot of E.
Like the 2000s. Yeah. A lot of, exactly.
Wait, you changed it to the 2000s?
Yeah, it's the 2000s now. I mean to say that.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. We'll cut that
2008. Yeah. But yeah, it was huge out there. Like it was those underground.
Yeah.
And we would just go and go and go and go and go. And so I had moved out at 13. My boyfriend was 17. He was a drug dealer.
Wow.
And that's like the scene that we lived. Like we grew weed in the basement, like growing weed in Vancouver is like a really big thing too out there. So BC Bud, they call it, right?
BC Bud. We couldn't wait to get it to Winnipeg, Manitoba. We loved BC Bud. Oh, yeah. It was a thing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You never heard about BC Bud?
It was a thing. Oh, yeah. BC Bud.
Born and raised in Southern California.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my life. That's what I did. And then I started doing like modeling and acting at a young age, got into theater. So I was doing that on the side while I was partying and trying to manage this chaotic life. Landed a few jobs. And then landed a job out here. So I came out once to do that job, went back there, and then was offered a TV show out here. And so that's what made me actually leave. That, and then the person that was the abuser was getting off on probation and was essentially going to start coming back around. And I was just like, not going to have that. So those two things, I'm like, okay, I'll go. So yeah, I left and literally had a suitcase, $3,000, and some guy. I was 19 and he was 40. This photographer that I was going to go live with in Hollywood and marry him and do this show. So that's what I did, and got out here and I left him within like 90 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was nuts. Yeah. Not healthy at all. And that was my get down, because of my childhood.
Yeah.
Hadn't dealt with anything that I would like put myself in these bad situations, you know, like one after another. And it was always, I'm the victim. I'm the victim. Like, these people did these things to me. I'm the victim, you know, and it wasn't until I got sober that I started to see what that really meant. And it took me probably 3 years into my recovery to really have that mind shift of that moment going, fuck, like, you're a survivor.
Yeah.
You know, like, this victim mentality is keeping you sick.
Yep.
And it's letting these people control you, you know, and that, like, misery and that story of who I was and, like, where I came from, that became comfortable for me, right? Because, like, forgiving and letting go and moving on and turning it over to my higher power seemed like such an unattainable task that I'd rather be pissed. You know, I'd rather, like, I'm gonna kill them, you know, than find, like, a place of peace. So that's where I had to get to. But that took a really long time. I kind of fast forwarded. So yeah, because I didn't get sober until my 30s. So I was actively using for over 20 years. So yeah, it was Xanax and then pain pills and then Adderall, all prescribed, right, to start with. And then it was never enough. And for me, like, I didn't hang out with drug addicts, you know, like, it wasn't my story. And so I was in denial for so long, and I didn't really think I had a real problem until I tried to quit. And then when you try to come off those 3 different types of pills, oh my God, like, you can die.
Yeah.
Like, seizures in the hospital. Like, it was gnarly. So that's when I realized, like, holy shit, you've got a serious problem. But I kept going anyways, you know? So yeah, that was, my 20s was the worst run of it for sure. But yeah, I mean, I worked in TV and film. Like, that's what I did out here. I always had money. I had nice cars. I had a nice house. I had things, right?
All of those things, when you have those things, it's so much harder to, like, find that bottom.
So much harder. And, you know, it's funny because when I tell my story, it's like, how much do I tell, right? Like, how much do I disclose? What do I not say? And it's kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, fuck it. You know, I am who I am, and I own who I am at this point in my life. But it's taken me a long time to get there. But, like, for me, I went down a crazy path. So, you know, I started up in Hollywood, and the money was very appealing, right? And so, like, I was going on auditions every day and, like, getting a line here and getting a line there and doing whatever I could and, like, making decent money, but I always wanted more. Like, that's one thing about me, and thank God I've been able to move it into a positive direction now in sobriety, but, like, I've never wanted to settle with anything. And, like, props to anybody that does that and they're like, okay, I'm just content with just doing this. Like, I always wanted to do better, be better, have more. Like,
I question people, though, that actually say that. Are they really, truly content? But maybe they are.
I don't think so. I mean, I wasn't.
I mean, if you listen to any motivational speaker, people want more than what their life is giving them. Not even people that are just 9-to-5ers, not truly happy unless you're chasing your dreams. And I don't think most people's dreams are to go to work from 9 to 5, go home, just pay their bills, and just get by.
No, it shouldn't be.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, hang on. I've been talking about this the last few months with my a family member, and some people just want to do a 9 to 5. They live a little longer. There's no stress in their life. They have a job, and they're finished at 5, and they don't take it home, and they go to sleep when they want. They get up when they want. They don't worry on the weekends. Bro, we worry every day. We worry every weekend. We work 7 days a week.
Yeah, but I could have that job. But I could have that job and I could pay my bills. But man, I want so much more out of life.
I'm with you, bro.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I
we're the same.
can't.
And to each their own. Like for people that like to be like that, all
God
the
bless
power
them,
to
of
you.
course.
But I'm just not the one.
No.
And I never have been.
Neither are we.
But I was doing it in a very negative way back then. So
well, good you turned it around.
Yeah. So it took a long time though. And I was so deep in what I was doing for so long that it's hard to come out of it, you know? So like for me, I started, doing that stuff, doing a little show here and there. And then I got offered other stuff, right? Like I had more adult stuff being offered to me, like Playboy and Penthouse and things like that, right? And so I went down that path for quite a while. Like Jenna Jameson was one of my best friends, and she called me up one day. I didn't know her, and she was like, "Hey, why don't you come out to my house in Arizona? I want to talk to you." And so I went out there, and at that point, I'd already been. And back then, it was like magazines and stuff, right? It wasn't like how everything is on the internet now. It went that way, trust me. But back then, there was like actual magazines on stands and stuff. Like, it's not really, there's not really anything like that anymore out there. So I went out there, and she had started a company with Playboy, and it was called Club Jenna. And so she was contracting all these people, and she said, "Hey, we want to contract you." And I mean, just being totally honest, I wasn't going to do like that sort of role, like the hardcore stuff. I said, "Well, I'm not going to do anything like that." And she said, "Well, we still want to contract you, and you could do other stuff." And I was like, "Okay." And so I signed a contract, and my reality was so far from normal when I was in that lifestyle. Like I was already in it, but not in it to that degree. And once I started being in that lifestyle, it was just, first of all, I wasn't getting up in the morning without taking stuff. So nothing I did was sober. Everything was under the influence. And here I am, like traveling around, doing all this stuff, with all these people that have no idea what's really going on with me. And it's so crazy because they say that over 80% of people that end up working in that field in one way or another have been abused, because like, why would you do that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why would you do any of that? And for me, when I first started just doing, modeling and magazine work, and I just take my clothes off like it was nothing, right? Like it was no big deal doing that back then. And I look back on it now, and I'm not ashamed of my past, but I'm just like, oh my God, like the thought, like you couldn't pay me $1 million. Like you could literally throw anything at me and I wouldn't even take my top off in front of people, it's nuts how different we are.
It was so
in
gradual
our addiction.
though. And there was a gradual, the addiction and everything just was so slow. It wasn't like it jumped from here to here.
No. It was a very slow
process. Yeah. So just you get so used to something, it just seems normal at the time.
That's one of the funny words you say. I say process, and you said process.
Process.
Yeah.
It's a gradual process. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're in it, and those are the people that you're with all the time, it seems normal.
Yeah.
Right. And especially if you start doing that over like the course of a few years, it just becomes normal. And so for me, and that's one thing I wanted to, and I haven't done it yet in recovery and working in this field, but I wanted to help people that have gone through that, find help, because for me, I was my AKA. Like no one knew my real name. Like that's who I was. That was my identity.
Yeah.
And since I was young, it was essentially my identity, just being this actor, essentially, and not being me.
Yeah.
And so when I got out of it and got sober, I'm like, holy shit, who am I? What do I want to do? And how am I going to do it? And there's like so many layers to that, right? Like so many layers. And from humbling yourself, which that is not easy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is not easy to humble yourself.
Well, especially being used to getting what you want all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Essentially.
not all of us came from that.
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, but you were able to get anything you wanted any time.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. And so like when I got sober, I was in the process of leaving my ex-husband. And so I went to therapy with him for a long time. And then I knew that I had to leave, that relationship would kill me. I mean, he was with me since I was 19 years old. And so, you know, he was around for all of that. And he very much supported me doing all of that stuff, right? It was just our life. It was our lifestyle, right? And he got to capitalize on that. So when I eventually left, I left our family home. I said, just keep everything. I don't even care. Like, this is going to kill me. And I left, and I had to start all over again. And when I say start all over again, I mean like start all over again, all by myself. You know, my son was 6 or 7 years old when all of this was happening, you know, so he was really, really young, and he was with him a lot of the time. And cause I was trying to like rebuild my life, and it's not easy. Yeah.
No, shit, no.
Humbling. And then just like walking away from that lifestyle, it's hard. And that's why I'm so heavily tattooed. So when I was in that industry, it was, you can't have like a lot of tattoos, right? And so I had like a couple little tattoos, and then I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to get out of this industry. And so I'm like, I'll start getting blasted with tattoos. So I started getting tattoos, and then they started booking me for other things. So it was like Inked Magazine or do this or do that. I'm like, fuck, you know, like I couldn't get out of it. And so it didn't matter. It didn't matter. What mattered was me getting sober, and I had to walk away from everybody and everything I ever knew and start life all over again. Is what I had to do. So this is my first normal job I've ever had in my life, and I'm in my 40s.
I thought I was a late bloomer. I didn't have a job until like 22. Like no job. Never had a job.
Yeah. So yeah, quite the journey for sure.
Yeah, but you grew up fast.
I grew up fast.
You know, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's what happens. You know, it's like if you don't deal with your stuff and you start using, everything's just going to go off the rails. And that was definitely what happened.
And you said you didn't do something till 3 years sober. I forgot what it was. At 3 years, something changed.
Oh, yeah. I went from a victim.
Right.
To
So,
a survivor.
God, when did you find, is that when you kind of found, like, what was that experience like?
Yeah. So the first couple years I got sober, when I was sober, like I had said earlier, it was just a mess. Like, I think the amount of Xanax I was taking a day, I was taking like 17 milligrams of Xanax a day. I don't even, like, it's...
1 bar is a milligram, I think.
Well, bars 2 milligrams,
Okay,
like the bars.
Okay.
So yeah, like several
Yeah,
of those.
wow.
And so for that to get out of like my tissues and my brain, you know, and my receptors to be firing back normally, I mean, it took a long time. So I feel like the fog didn't even start to clear for over a year. Then I was getting out of that relationship, and I don't know like the exact moment it happened, but you know, I was working with a therapist. I was doing what I needed to do, and I just started really like digging deep and exploring forgiveness, because up until then there was no forgiveness. It was fuck everybody, essentially.
Everybody, including yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was a slow process, but yeah, it was a game changer. That's what needed to happen. And looking at my part and stuff and the accountability there, because I put myself in a lot of bad situations. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff. We don't need to go into all the gory details, but a lot of bad stuff, as you can imagine, being in that business, that happened over those years. So I just kept getting, you know, one thing after another happening, but I would put myself in dangerous situations. And not that it was my fault what happened, but just being able to like have that insight and accountability and self-awareness, you know, that I use today, you know. being able to sit back and pause and look at a situation. Like I could never pause. Like I was so impulsive in my addiction, like my whole life, essentially. So impulsive, like leaving Canada and coming to California and marrying an American. Like who does that kind of shit? Like it was nuts. Like I literally have this big box with all this stuff from my past because I feel like people don't even believe it. They're like, that couldn't, there's no way that didn't actually happen. And I'll like, look, see, it really did. And like pull out this box of stuff.
Wow.
Because it was so nuts, you know? So I learned to what they call sit on my hands is what they told me in treatment to do because I was just like, I needed answers. I needed to know. I needed to go. I needed this. I needed that. And they're like, Jenny, just go sit on your hands. Probably like 30 times a day. Jenny, just go sit on your hands. And I'd get so mad, right? Why am I going to sit on my hands? What is this doing? What's the point of it? But I learned over time, like, okay, pause, you know, think, take a breath, take a moment, go sit on your hands. Yeah.
Oh, so year 3, you changed from victim to
survivor.
To survivor.
Yeah, victim to survivor for sure.
And how did your job change? Like, what changed after that?
No, I was working in this field since I got sober, essentially.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so not healthy working in this field,
No.
but nonetheless working in this field. Yeah.
I had 4 months clean when I started driving a van for a treatment center.
See,
back
so
in.
you get it.
Yeah. I was insane, but it was insane. It was a whole different era of addiction treatment back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, there was no insurance. Insurance didn't pay for treatment. It was all cash pay. All of the houses were co-ed. It was, shit was popping off every day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sounds
I
crazy.
can't imagine the co-ed housing in the first couple months, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Was that controlled even?
It wasn't. There was a lot of rehab babies made, and I have a rehab baby. My oldest, my 22-year-old.
Yep.
Her mom and I met in rehab, in the same rehab that I ended up working for.
Oh, wow.
Later. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot different. I mean, and so it was like, I don't know, but we went to a lot of 12 NA meetings.
Yeah.
It was like NA. And, you know, I drove a van. I drove a van. I took the clients. You got paid $800 a month plus a room. You worked all day. There was no 8-hour shifts. You lived there.
Sounds like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah. It was fun. Most of the time you got paid under the table. So, you know, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And it kind of gave me that drive to get to where I am today. That was 22 years ago.
Yeah, you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a big thing for me is finding your purpose and your passion, right? Like I preach that so much. I talk about it on the show a lot. It's one thing to get sober. Like, yeah, that's hard to do, right? But above and beyond that, like if you don't figure out what makes you happy and what you're passionate about and what drives you and find that purpose,
you're fucking dead.
You're done.
You're done.
You're done.
That's for everybody though.
That's
sober, not sober, recovery, not recovery.
That's life.
That's life.
That's life.
If you don't have it, you're working like a dog every day. Not happy.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to find that. And so for me,
purpose and passion.
Finding purpose and my passion was what I really needed to do because I was super lost, you know?
Yeah.
Like, who am I? What am I going to do? And now being able to help others and like spread the message and grow. Like I always say like getting sober and being in recovery is a superpower because we've been given this like new opportunity at life and we can do anything we want to, right? Like endless possibilities.
We can even work a 9 to 5 if we want to.
I just 9 to 5. Let's do it.
Could never.
I don't know if addicts can though. Like I've met many addicts that, you know, not ones like me. Because like an addict like me, you had to get up. You didn't go to sleep. Like meth was my drug of choice and Valium. So it's kind of similar. Right? Yeah. But like it was 24/7 for me.
Yeah.
I was hustling, trying to I didn't have nice cars. I was stealing cars and
Mm-hmm.
you know trying this is like in in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to sell drugs.
Yeah.
I was like the worst drug dealer though. So
Why? Because you'd always do it or get caught
I
or
would
give it away or
oh yes,
all of the
yes, everything you just said.
all of the above.
Yeah, I was too white, trying to look too gangster, trying to bumping down the road in a stolen vehicle, listening to Too Short and Tupac and
all bad.
Snoop Dogg, like their old gangster stuff. That's I mean I was at 2:00 in the morning
with a stolen car.
Yeah,
And speakers up.
Didn't give a fuck. Yeah, because I'd turn that stolen car into mine.
Yeah.
I'd pop off their license plate, put mine on it. It was all bad.
So you were doing that and I was raving.
Yeah. Well, I raved a couple times, but it's just like I was already by the time raves came out, I was already a full-blown IV meth user.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like
no room to rave.
There really wasn't.
No.
Like I went to a rave, dropped a whole bunch of acid one time. We were having a good time. One of my other buddies took way too much acid. He was not having a good time. We were laughing at him. He's got a permanent twitch now.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
No. That's horrible.
Oh, that is horrible.
Yeah. But like ecstasy, like I tried it.
Yeah.
And I was already a IV meth user. So like
really
that little tiny whatever it did nothing
what
to
is
me.
this?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
I took one time and I was like, oh man, I feel like I'm coming down off of meth. Because it just didn't, it launches people who don't have, have normal receptors in their brain, but not somebody who was already, doing like 2 grams a day.
Yeah.
See, I didn't do any IV drugs.
No.
I didn't do meth, but I did a shit ton of Adderall.
When you say meth, when you say it like that, it just makes it sound so bad.
So dirty.
She was like, meth.
Meth.
I didn't do meth.
But I was doing so much Adderall that
same thing.
it's same thing. And I'd stay up for days and I'd end up going on like 5150 holds. I would do the craziest stuff. Like,
did you ever work for the CIA?
So here's the thing. Like when I would go into a psychosis, I always thought I was like some gnarly gangbanger. Like that was my thing. And so it's crazy how when you go into a psychosis, while you're in it, there's no other reality. But when you come out, like I remember my psychosis is perfectly, like all of them.
Oh yeah.
Like from start to end. And it would always end up with the paramedics being called and they'd come get me and I'd be like waving a gun. I always had a gun for some reason, waving a gun around and no, but my homies and da-da-da-da-da-da. Like it was the craziest thing.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And then I'd go sleep, for 3 days and then I'd be okay.
Yeah. Wake up with Adderall. Yeah.
But no one even knew. Like it was a thing where this would happen and, oh, Jenny's just sick or something, and then I'd come back. But I think people had to have known something was going on, at least towards the end, because I was crackhead skinny. I mean, like 30 pounds lighter than I am right now. I was 100 pounds soaking wet and dying. Like lost my gallbladder. My mom came out from Vancouver to see me one time. And I'll never forget it. I was in the hospital and she came in and just the look on her face was like just terror. Like I was dead. Like she was looking at a dead person, And someone said to me one time, they said, don't die while you're still alive. And it was like one of those seeds, like you plant these seeds, right? And that was one of those seeds that really stuck with me because it's just so true. Don't die while you're still alive. Because a lot of us are just dead on the inside, but living this facade. So
what are you doing today? To stay healthy?
To stay healthy?
Yeah.
Man, I do a lot of things. So I do a lot of like motivational stuff. I work out. I have my son. I like to travel, go on adventures. I like to do lots of different spiritual things. Yeah.
How's the kid? How old is he?
He's 14,
Oh, nice.
going
That's
on
a great
25.
age.
Yeah.
I got a 14-year-old.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
A boy or a girl?
Oh, he's in Japan right now with 3 buddies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
At 14.
He went with 2 buddies and the one buddy's father. So it's one father with 3 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a massive kid. He's like 6'4"
Wow.
at 14 years
Wow.
old, so he's this like giant child.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're always out doing stuff. He lives with me full time now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he sees his dad like every other weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's pretty much with me. So
Good for you.
that keeps me busy too.
Yeah, of course.
And I have 3 dogs. So that
Yeah.
keeps me busy too.
Gym every day?
Huh?
Gym every day?
Pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're big on the gym here.
I get up at like 4:00 in the morning, 4:30
Nice.
every morning, just wake up naturally. It's hilarious. Like I used to always think I had like the gnarliest sleep disorder, like insomnia, something wrong with me. I can't sleep. I'd go get all these different medications. I get sober and now I just sleep like a baby. By like 9 o'clock, usually I'm out, wake up by 4 or 5,
Yeah.
ready to
Chad's
go.
up at 3 or so.
You get up really early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now I'm getting up at 4, but when I'm before I got injured, I had to break my world record in running.
Oh no. What happened?
I just injured my
Yeah, that's
my
fucking
ab.
Oh
It's
shit.
It's like-
unbelievable.
Yeah.
What do you mean your ab?
Like the lower ab. I
How do
injured
you
it
injure
like
your ab?
I injured it like a year ago in basketball.
Yeah.
I guess it's like more like a growing injury, but it's like high growing, like
Okay.
up at the abdominal area. And I injured it in basketball a year ago, and it just hasn't healed right. I'm pushing 50, so yeah,
So
things
you're fucked.
things just don't go back
And he
together.
doesn't want to slow it down. That's the thing. You know when you don't want to slow down, you still have that
it
go, go,
sounds
go,
like
go.
we can't
No,
because
we
that's
can't.
not who we are.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
even
If I
fucking
slow it
we'll
down,
take a
I'm
month.
gonna die.
See?
If I slow down, I'm gonna die.
And so instead of slowing down, he just pushes.
You got to
Just
keep going.
push,
Yeah.
push.
David Goggins tells me that I got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
You got to keep pushing.
Yeah, I crushed my time. Crushed it.
Yeah.
I had 10 minutes left to go, and I just felt the injury happen, and I was like, I can't stop now.
Mhm.
I was way ahead of my pace, so I just kept going.
Mm.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about steroids? Do you think that's a relapse?
To each their own. I've done steroids myself. I don't really recommend them for people because it really fucks up the rest of your system.
Mm-hmm.
So when you try to come off of them,
Yeah.
you're not the same. I've relapsed because of steroids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I've taken them and I've had the same result. They just like, they would spin me out for sure.
Really?
I would take
Yeah, I've never tried.
like Anavar and
Huh.
clenbuterol. It's kind of like the girl cocktail.
Yeah.
And getting off them is not,
Yeah.
it's not fun. I do not suggest it if you're in recovery.
I don't either.
Don't do steroids if you're in
Yeah.
recovery.
I don't suggest it, but I know a lot of people do. And
A
I
lot of
don't-
people do, yeah.
And I don't prescribe to whatever any like judgment, I guess, towards anybody.
Yeah.
I guess if you're in a 12-step program, that's something between you, God, and your sponsor.
Yeah.
If you're not in a 12-step program, it's between you and God.
Right.
It is bad for you. It's
Oh, for
affecting
sure.
all your
Of
all
course
your
it is.
organs,
Yeah.
your conception of reality.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely alters your state of
Mind.
mood.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For
It
sure.
pushes it to
Yeah.
so somebody like you, Shane, who's
Would
already
not be good.
high
Yeah.
strung,
Yeah.
it'll push you straight into like a manic episode,
Right.
Like a full on mania.
Work for
Be
the
like
next 6
raging
months.
around
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Right?
Raw, you'll just be stomping around.
Don't come back to the office.
I'm going to the gym.
Oh, shit. Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good for me.
Have you done steroids before?
No.
You just sold them out of the back
Sold them
of
out the back door. Yeah.
out the back door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about ketamine?
Okay, so
Yeah.
I do think about that. We do ketamine treatment here.
Mm-hmm. Is it which kind?
The IV.
Okay.
It's under a physician and a nurse is
Mhm.
there the whole time, and I think it's great for resetting trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great for resetting the receptors in the brain.
I've tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the IV
Yeah.
ketamine. I've been hearing a lot about it. I mean, it's a hot topic right now. That's why I asked you guys.
Yeah.
You know, in the industry for sure, like taboo or not. You know, some people are down and some people aren't. But yeah, I think it works great for people that need it.
Yeah.
You know, so I tried it just to have that experience and see what it was all about, and it was a pretty profound experience, to say the least. Yeah. I wouldn't continue doing it just for myself, but I could see why people benefit from it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm big on trauma and PTSD. Hey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do use it on some of the vets.
Yeah.
Serene.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Works well.
Yeah.
My wife's done it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does work. It's crazy because I was like, all right, I'm just going to relax and like allow this process. Right. And so, it was interesting. Like it took me back to being a little kid, and they say like you work on your inner child when you're doing ketamine. Right. And so it was quite the experience.
You had a coach taking you back?
There was somebody there, and it was like an initial thing where you figure out what you want to work on, right? And you discuss it beforehand. And then it's like a grounding experience. And then there's aromatherapy and certain lighting. They do this like at this place, it was like an infrared light that they put on you, like when you're halfway into your treatment. And so I think that mimics, I realized this afterwards, they're like mimicking a rebirth, right? Because I was completely somewhere else, like out of body, completely somewhere else.
I don't want to speak for my wife, but she told me her experience, and I sat in the room at the end, because I came to pick her up, and my sister is the one that she has a med spa, and they do the ketamine treatment there. But my brother-in-law did it as well. And I just, there's some funny stories. I'm just not going to tell their stories. You know, I'll let them tell it. I think my wife's going to come on the podcast.
Have you tried it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. Did it work for you? Do you feel like it helped?
I mean, they say you're supposed to do 6 treatments.
Yeah, they do at least like 4 to 6 at my sister's place.
Yeah, like they say do 2 a week, do the full 6. But for me, I just, working in this industry, I wanted to try it because we're looking into it too over at the Edge. And so I'm like, okay, well, I just want to see what this is all about, at least to understand the experience. So I don't think I got all the therapeutic benefits as if I did it for the full like 4 to 6 treatments, but I at least got to understand what it feels like to be put under. So,
yeah. So now when somebody asks, you have like you can give an explanation of what it feels like.
Yeah. But like hardcore AA people will say that's not the thing to do.
That's because it's new.
Do they say? I think maybe the old school, but
school.
Actually, if you read if they're saying that, they're not following the actual book, because this is something that's prescribed by a doctor, and that's something that's between you and your healthcare professional. And it's from my understanding of the book and their traditions, it is actually they shouldn't even have an opinion on it.
Amen to that. I agree. But it's a whole thing right now where if you're microdosing, people are microdosing now and all that stuff. And yeah, the old school AA people, I know somebody that just went through this, and they had their AA family and really involved in their AA family and in the community. And she had told her sponsor that she was doing this, and they booted her out.
Huh.
Yep.
That's not very appealing.
That's not based on attraction rather than promotion.
Not at all. Not at all.
Jesus.
Shit.
The old school, the old
they're dying
timers,
off.
the
They're
old
dying
timers.
off.
Yeah, it's just like in this day and age, we have to do things differently. Like I know part of the reason for the show is for fentanyl awareness, and it's not the same now as it was 10 years ago. I mean, even if fentanyl was around the way it is now, when I was actively in my addiction, like I'd be dead for sure.
Be dead.
Yeah, one of us would be dead for sure.
Yeah, we'd be dead. And so I feel like we need to treat it differently than what we were doing. And We can't be these cookie cutter programs.
No, the whole
and philosophy.
the whole concept. I've watched a few of your podcasts and a lot of people, and you got and look, I have a lot of 12-step knowledge. I've been around the program a long time. It's just when I got sober this last time, I chose not to do that. I chose to do something different. I probably went to meetings for like my first year. But I was really, I started to get turned off over the years, especially like when you have a lot of time and you relapse, and just there was a lot of, we're all supposed to be the same when we're in there, but people start to look at you different.
For
and
sure.
they start to think that they're better than you because they've never relapsed or this or that. And it just really started to turn me off. And I hated the whole walk of shame, like if you have 9, 10, 20 years and you relapse and you got to, go do that newcomer chip thing for 30 days. I get the whole humbling experience. But it's really a shameful experience at the same time. And I don't think they fit together.
No, I agree with you. And relapse is part of most of our stories.
Yeah.
The people that don't relapse, I mean, good for you guys, but it's rare.
Right.
Most people do. And the shame that's around it is ridiculous.
Well, and on top of that, I owned a treatment center. And like I fell and everybody saw me fall and everybody knew about my fall. And, then the rumor mill happened. And when I got clean this time, I was like, you know what? I'm putting my head down. I'm doing my thing. I'm going to disappear. I guess like they say in like these motivational videos, I went into the dark room and I just did me and I worked on me and I worked on all the shit that I had never worked on before that Alcoholics Anonymous couldn't do for me. And I continued to do that. And now every day when I wake up, and God is my everything. I have my morning routine. That's why I get up so early in the morning, because I have to do all of these things before I even get ready to go to the gym. And so I get those done, and and I have a personal relationship with God and he keeps me sober. And I work on becoming the best version of myself on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I used to work in an AA program when I first got sober. I did, had a sponsor and did all that, but, I don't do it anymore. I have my own spiritual journey that I'm on and what I do. And, it works for me.
Right.
I know what works for me. And I know that at this point in my life, I'm finally content. Being content is such a hard thing to actually acquire.
Every day. Every day, yeah.
Every day. Yeah. Every day, yeah. But like on the inside, I'm content with like
good
who
for
I
you.
am. I've made peace with my past. I'm good, and for me, like I could never be alone. I always had to be with somebody. I always had to have all these distractions. And now it's like, okay, I'm content with who I am. I'm happy with where I'm at in my life. I know where I want to get to. And I have my community, my people around me. I got some really good mentors around me, and that worked better for me in my personal story than like the typical AA. I surround myself with the winners.
Right.
I want people around me who are either motivating me, lifting me up, educating me, whatever it may be. Like
Smart.
I always tell people in early recovery, I'm like, just get with the winners. Find people. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. Like seek people out where you're like, fuck, I want to be like that person, and hit them up. And like study them and watch them and learn them and be a sponge and be vulnerable. Like tell them. Like people get so prideful, and ego is just like
crazy.
Ego will take you out every time.
It'll take you out, or it keeps you from becoming the successful version of yourself.
Yeah.
Because eventually ego starts to look like a narcissistic trait. It starts to look unattractive, and when things start to look unattractive, you're just not going to get there.
Yeah.
Like I try to remove. That's why I do my spiritual stuff in the morning.
Yeah.
To remove my ego so that I can just be free to do God's will in my life.
For sure. And doing this, I mean, when you're out there, you know, on a show and you're exposing yourself to everybody, it's tough. You know, like you got to take the criticism. There's always going to be people out there that are saying stuff, and I get it. I get it all the time. And it's been really good for me because I'm just like, it's all good. Like I know what my mission is and my purpose, and it's not just me being like, look at me, I'm on camera. Like I legit have a reason why I'm doing this, and like being able to lay the ego and all that insecurity to the side and go, okay, just remember why you're doing this, and screw everybody else and their opinions. Like the good ones will be there.
Yeah.
You know?
When you see my daughter's podcast from last night, there's like, I'm going to clip the part that's of most important. And it's me and her talking about Justin dying, her finding him. I'm crying like a baby. And, like, that's why I'm doing this. I didn't want to do this. I'm already successful. I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
I don't really care if people see me or don't see me, but now I care that they see me because I'm gonna keep doing this until 300 million people hear my voice.
That's right.
And then I'm gonna keep going until change happens, and then maybe I can pass it down to somebody else. And when I say that, I mean pass the platform down to somebody else. You know, because I don't want to do this forever. I got like 49. I'm like 55. That's about it for, you know, my podcasting life. So I got maybe 5.5 years.
And there's a lot you can do in 5.5 years.
Oh yeah. And I know this too.
Yeah.
And I'm like full stride in, like, you know, in my professional life right now. I may not be hitting full stride at the gym anymore.
Not for
Although, look, I beat my personal best.
You did, but now you're gone for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You got to start back over at 1.
I was thinking too.
I'm to start back over
exact
at 1,
thing.
1.5.
I was like, I'm gonna have to.
When you
I'm gonna
start,
have to
I'm
walk
gonna
a
start.
mile.
Yes, I'm going to start with you.
Because I hadn't done cardio in a long time. I started with just walking a mile. And then
like
I
on a
kept
treadmill or
yeah, I got to do treadmill. I'm weird like that because I can't go run outside. I don't know how far I've gone. I need to be able to like look at something and know that I'm beating it, or you know, or at least staying pace of my normal. So that's how I do that. The gym is easy for me though, like the lifting weights and all that stuff. It's just like I've been doing that for like 20, 25 years. So it's like, it's boring. I mean, it's not boring. It's just what I do.
Yeah.
I go in, I do it. Takes me 45 minutes to an hour at the most, maybe an hour and 10 on leg day. That's it. And then that's it. And I don't feel tired. I'm not like worn out. Like, oh my God, that was such a gnarly leg. Well, sometimes on leg day, I do. I feel tired. Do you ever feel tired?
I don't hit legs like you like. I don't do the squats, so I don't hit legs hard like I used to.
Yeah.
Because you get injury when you're doing those squats or you know.
That's why
lower body's
I get it all set up though. I have it all. I mean, yeah, my knee hurts.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I don't run outside because my knee.
Yeah.
Sucks getting old.
Yeah. Like I'll just stay on the soft treadmill, not on the pavement.
And I like the new treadmills. They have their belts look like a tractor tire.
Are you talking about the ones where it's like goes like this too? Those ones.
So
have you seen those ones?
Yeah, they have the regular ones with those same belts. I haven't tried the one that is like this though.
I've tried it. I don't know.
You don't like it?
Yeah.
Your hands are going like that too?
No.
No.
It's the treadmill is
more for
like
like
kinda,
athletes.
Oh yeah. It's curved.
Yeah, it's curved.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
We always talk. I mean, the gym is like, I think that, you know, those are accomplishments that people can do because like to be successful, you have to start with a healthy lifestyle to really truly be successful. I mean, there's a lot of people in this world that are, you know, billionaires and they're fat and out of shape, but you know, that's not what I want. I don't want to be that.
Yeah, me neither.
I want to be, you know, the best version of myself and the best.
Nobody wants that, bro. Nobody wants to be fat.
They don't?
No.
Oh.
Nobody wants it.
Well, but they'll claim it. They'll claim it.
Yeah. Nobody wants it, bro. Nobody wants to struggle to put on your socks. No one wants to struggle to bend over and put on your shoes.
I struggle.
You're like, wait a second.
What are you talking
No,
about?
you know what I'm saying, though.
I have to like sit down now. I can't do it.
Yeah, but no one wants to struggle though. So no, it's tough to go to the gym every day. It's tough to eat well. It's tough to be mentally prepared for daily activity and to stay happy.
But you know what? If you're going to be a role model, right, for yourself and for others, for your family, for your children, for people out there, I feel like you have to present yourself a certain way.
I agree.
Like I have noticed working in treatment that the clients are much more receptive to somebody that they look up to in a certain way than somebody that's not, you know, and you just, if you're going to be a role model, you have to be the full package.
Yeah, especially a role model for the addicts and the alcoholics who are still suffering and they're trying to do this thing. Like they it's like, okay, I did that. I was where you were. I was 130 pounds when I walked into treatment the very first time in 1996. 130 pounds.
Crazy.
It's like how much I weigh right now. That's crazy.
Yeah. I was my arms were about this big around.
I need to see a picture of this.
Yeah.
Maybe some other time.
There's no pictures.
Yeah, you were skinny.
I was skinny.
Yeah.
I'm methed out. I didn't eat. I couldn't eat. I didn't have money. I was broke. I was just trying to hustle me up a room at the Colton Inn down in San Bernardino.
Oh,
$20 $19.99.
San Bernardino, that place.
That's where I grew up.
Okay, yeah. That's tough.
I got clean out here.
Yeah, it's tough out there for sure.
Yeah, it's even tougher now. I mean, it's crazy now.
But I think like being a role model, you know, it's when people are watching you, right, and you don't have the right attitude, and you're not being an example, you know,
you're
those
not
things
appealing
like
in every way.
Like for me, I used to, when I first got sober, I used to look at other people and go, fuck, like they've got this, they've got that. Like they seem so happy and all these things. And that's just for them, right? Like that's not going to happen for me. And it was like this mentality that I carried with me for a long time. And kind of like when I became a survivor, right? Also having that why not me mentality that we all should have, right? Like, why not you? Why not? If that person can do it, why can't you do it? And I think if you can like change your mindset to the why not me, because that's how I live my life now. Like with anything that I want to do, anywhere I want to go, things I want to do in my future, I'm like, well, why not me? I can do it. Let's take it one day at a time. Let's be consistent. Like consistency is, I like preach that. Like if you're consistent and have your goal, you can achieve it. And why not me?
Yeah, I preach discipline.
Yeah.
Which is the same concept of you know, I'm consistently disciplined. You know,
that's what it takes.
It is what it takes. And and here's where people go wrong, because this, for me, and you know, for Shane and for people that, you know, like you and myself, and this isn't Monday through Friday or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is Sunday to Saturday. This is my life. Yeah. Like I don't sleep in on Saturday.
No.
And I'm not like looking forward. I'm not like, woo, it's Friday. You know, like is it Friday today?
Yeah.
I mean, I still come in here on Saturday, so it doesn't really matter to me. You know, and usually a crisis in this industry doesn't happen between 9 and 5 anyway. So our phones are ringing. People don't want to, you know, people aren't calling you during, I mean, they do call, but you know, Shane's answering the phone at
24/7.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah.
If somebody calls.
And I'm up Saturday, Sunday, same day for me as Monday through Thursday.
I actually look forward to Monday more than any other day.
Why is that?
Because I get to come back here.
Okay.
And I get to see everybody that I didn't see on Saturday and Sunday.
Again. I love having a routine. And like, I think there's so much value in that. You know, you have your consistency, you have your routine, and it becomes your habits and it becomes your life, and it's healthy.
Your habits are your habits are what you become. So if you have bad habits, you're going to become those bad habits. Yeah. You have good, consistent habits, healthy habits, you're going to become that healthy individual that you want to be.
Right on. Yeah, for sure. And for
I get all this bullshit that I'm saying, that I spout from these. I don't listen to music anymore. I do 2 things. I listen to my podcast so I can critique myself and make fun of myself. I listen to audiobooks, and at the gym I listen to Motiversity on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is just like
I know what it is.
motivational videos.
Yeah.
And they're all the same, but they're so good.
I've listened to all of them. I'm not doing it as much anymore, but when I first got sober, probably for the first 2-3 years, that's what I would do in the morning, getting ready for like 45 minutes to an hour. I would have on those videos, and there's really something to it. Like if that's what you're listening to, you got to be careful what you take in.
Yeah.
Like you look at where we live and just how crazy it is, and just like traffic and just society and the mood and just like all the stuff that's out there, that we really need to be careful of what we're taking in. And if we're able to be mindful of that and like take in that positive reinforcement, then it's like, all right, yeah, I got this.
I take in all of that positive reinforcement so that I can spew it all day.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually an introvert. And introverts I can't do this podcast and I don't go home feeling pumped. I don't get my whatever I need from outside people, where an extrovert does, right? An extrovert could come in and have these conversations, and they're just like, they're taking they take my coins. Extroverts take my coins. I wake up in the morning with 10 coins, and I pass them out throughout the day because I'm an introvert. An extrovert wakes up with 0 coins, and he goes around from each person that they talk to, or he or she, and they gain their coins, and they go home feeling fulfilled. I go home and I have to refuel, and I have to refill myself.
I'm the same way, and people trip on that. They're like, there's no way. You have to be an extrovert.
Oh, people
There's
always
no
think
way.
I'm extrovert too.
And a lot of times with introverts, they don't know. And we do stuff like this, and we don't do stuff like this because it's just super comfortable and it's super easy. We do it because we need to.
Have to.
But yeah.
Mandatory.
I'll go to some meetings and I'll be going around all day and it'll be crazy. And I have to just be by myself and like decompress.
Yeah.
There will be several times a day where I'll decompress. Even after this, I'm sure I'll take like 20-30 minutes and just decompress, which you guys probably won't be able to because you're going to go right into another show.
I'm going to take like 15.
Yeah, we'll take 10-15 for sure. Eat my ham and cheese.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like really getting in touch with who you are is so key in recovery, and whatever that looks like for you. So
this is the good shit right here. I really liked what you said about it being a role model. This is the role model stuff. Our stories are important because they're relatable, right? Somebody's like, okay, I've been there. Somebody's like, oh, that person's been there, or she's been there, or Chad's been there, or Shane was a crackhead from Canada. And there's somebody that's like, I did that, or I'm doing that right now. And they can relate to that, but then they can look at us and be like, holy shit, I can stop doing this, and I can live a whole different life, and I can live more than just a life of being sober. Yeah. I can be successful. I can do things far beyond what normies do.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's about.
It's like
for
when
me.
you're talking about something in a meeting or whatever, but there's no solution, like you're not putting it into play. Like, what is the point? Right. And yeah, it's one thing to be relatable, but unless you're able to look and go, I want what that person has. Right. Like, look at what they're doing. It's totally different.
If you want what we have, you'll do what we do. There's so many good sayings in that I picked up along the years in the 12-step program. But what's funny is I started to realize later in life that those things weren't just AA or recovery related. I hear people say it all the time that aren't even part of recovery. If you want to be successful, you'll do what successful people do. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
It is.
And what I didn't like at 12-step meetings is when people would say, if you just don't drink today, that's enough. It's never been enough for me. Mm-mm. I mean, maybe the first couple months, but it's not. I need more than just not drinking. Or, I wasn't a big drinker, but using meth or whatever. And Xanax. I don't know how you did Xanax. Xanax, I would black out and hide all my shit.
Oh yeah, I was constantly doing weird shit.
I'd find I would call everybody after a Xanax blackout and be like, "You stole my wallet." I'd find it like with the pots and pans like later when I was going to make some food 2 days later.
Yeah, I would black out when I was drinking really bad. So like the last 3 years of using, I thought I would just drink. You know, my mind was like, oh yeah, rationalizing. Just start drinking and you'll be able to stop all the pills and then you'll just stop. And that definitely wasn't the case. But I got really sloppy when I started drinking. And then people started noticing something was really wrong. Because, yeah, I would go into blackouts and wake up the next day and have no idea what I did. Sometimes no idea where I was, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what really pushed me over the edge of like, okay, time to get sober.
I might have a problem here.
Might have just a little bit. Yeah. Probably need to go to rehab.
Crazy, right, Shane?
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to tell the audience? Our 47 followers.
100,
what was that one?
205ers. Oh yeah, 49 or
49.
Yeah, who said that?
Bob.
Yeah, what's the final bit of advice for someone out there looking right now at you and struggling and seeing a success story?
Put me on the spot.
Right?
That's a hard one, I know.
Yeah. That it takes a lot of strength and courage to ask for help, but it's what you need to do. Like for me, I was so prideful and thought that I was weak if I was going to ask for help, right? Like, I got this. I can stop. No big deal, right? And it's not a weakness to ask for help. It's the most courageous thing you'll ever do. And it's okay, you know, and that other people out there can relate to that and they're going through that. And we'll see that as bravery, you know, that for me was one of the hardest things, just the shame and people knowing and asking for that help. But I feel like once you ask and open that door, that surrendering process, you become so much lighter and you're able to finally be okay with not being okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you? To talk to you or to?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on my cell phone, my work cell phone. That's 949-328-6897.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like you do these things and then I'm going to leave and I'm going to be in my truck driving away and I'm going to think of like 100 things that I wish I had have said. You guys ever do that?
All the time.
Or just even like conversations with people?
Yeah.
And you're like, why didn't I say that?
I don't know because I can't remember. I can never remember anything that happened after the podcast. That's actually why I rewatch them.
Oh, really?
I don't remember anything.
You just
that
like
was
go
said.
in a zone. Like,
I do.
Yeah.
I just totally zone out.
and you're like, whoa, what just happened?
I did. And then I come out because this really isn't me. I'm not this guy. I'm not a guy on a podcast. I don't do this. I wouldn't like it normally if I didn't have this burning fire of the fentanyl war that I've started. Mm-hmm. Like, you know.
You know why this started, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty big.
It's huge, and there needs to be more awareness.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about it too. You know, they were talking about getting a new bill passed of fentanyl being considered a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
It is a weapon of mass destruction. It's taking out our youth. It's taking out people around us. I haven't had like a family member or someone really close to me die, but with that being said, I know so many people. It seems like every month somebody's dying, and a lot of people that work in this industry are dying.
Yeah.
Like this isn't, and it doesn't discriminate.
No.
Fentanyl does not discriminate. You know, it's in everything.
Right.
Like my son's 14 and it's in weed. It's in, you know, someone gets a Percocet or a Xanax off the street. It's in that, you know, it's in everything, and people are dying, and this isn't drug addicts. Like this is everyday people.
That's the thing. Like it's not just, that's when it becomes a war to me. It's always a war to me because I was left on this planet on December 9th of 2000 to help other people that suffer from this disease, the same dis-ease that I suffer from. And I know this because 22 years have gone by, and I started with nothing, and this spawned, right? Because I started to follow my path. But the people, so that's always a fight for me to save people's lives that are, you know, on a path to destruction and ultimately death. The end result of addiction of using drugs is death.
That's it.
That's it. Or there's two or we recover.
Right.
That's it. Those are the only two options. But now it's young children who probably would have never been drug addicts. It's, young adults. It's older people trying a pill off the street. Yeah. It's not just addicts. It's probably more of them than addicts, because addicts have a tolerance.
Right. And they don't know they're taking it.
Right.
You know, it's something else. And I think, I could go on about this forever, but getting more education on like Narcan. I used to do Narcan trainings, like weekly, at the Edge Treatment Center, and just everyone should have Narcan. It should be readily available to everybody. They shouldn't charge you for it.
They shouldn't charge.
It shouldn't be charged for Narcan.
They just made it
legal,
right? Yeah, you can buy it at CVS now.
Yeah,
with no prescription. So that's good, but that's not our solution, right?
No, it's not our solution.
Maybe we can save some people's lives, but how do we get rid of fentanyl?
Yeah,
crack was a bad thing in like the late 80s and early 90s. It's not a bad thing anymore. There's not that much people smoking crack anymore. But damn, they're using fentanyl.
Oh, everybody.
Yeah.
Every day.
We don't even, 90% of our clients come in here and their drug of choice is fentanyl.
Absolutely. And if it's not, it still pops in their drug test.
Oh yeah. That's like 95% pop for it. And then the other ones are like, alcoholics.
That's it.
Yeah. Like 5% alcoholics coming in.
Yeah.
But it's, in the young adults, it's like, it's all of them. The young adults, it's like fentanyl. I used to hear meth and heroin. Yeah. Now it's fentanyl and meth.
Yeah.
Fentanyl. It just is so scary.
It's so scary.
I could go on and on this topic, and I'm coming after them. I'm going after them. I'm going after the government. I'm going after them. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Any way I can help, I'll go after them too. Not with force, with anything that I used to do, but I will. Let me just be clear here, you guys.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I got somebody fired up the other day. They were like ready to jump up out of the chair, and just like we were like, was it him? He was like, let's go.
Alika, I had Alika and his friend Fausto both on the show too. Yeah.
Did you do Mike Fiore?
No. Why do I know this name though?
He's a good speaker. His I just put his podcast out.
There's
2 days ago.
another Mike Fiore though.
Is there? This guy's got a long beard.
Nope. Someone else with the same name.
There's another Mike Fiore in this world.
And he works in treatment.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in Florida. Interesting. Huh.
Shane's got a pretty good beard going on there.
You do? Do you do all the grooming
stuff
with it?
No,
that's just it.
It's just
natural.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no cream, no
Good
juice.
For you.
Nothing. Yeah.
Shampoo?
Oh fuck, every day.
Every day. I was thinking like girls don't shampoo their hair every day.
I know, but I just need to.
Why?
Because it's just
doesn't get dry.
Yeah.
It gets dry.
Doesn't get dry from the shampoo. It gets dry from the shampoo though, probably.
Maybe.
It's getting dry, so you shampoo it, but then
I shower twice. I shower. Yeah.
Twice a day.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Stay clean.
You shower twice a day?
Sometimes.
When?
Because I go to the gym in the morning, and I come back, and then I get home after this, sit in the chair, get home at night. That's twice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and on that note,
I'm not gonna judge you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
thanks for having me, you guys.
It was really good.
It was huge.
And it was. How long do you think we were on?
It feels like a long time.
It does. Oh,
just compared to mine. Not like in a bad way. I didn't mean that in a bad way. Like, I was forever.
God, that was Jesus.
Holy shit! Now
You
I gotta
guys
recover.
yeah.
But
gotta
mine,
go
when
into
I
my
do
corner.
it, it's like that. Like I start and I'm already done.
Right.
You know what I
So
mean?
you're set with questions and everything.
Yeah. I have them in my head ahead of time.
Yeah.
We do like a pre-interview and
Right.
stuff like that and have like a specific topic.
And yours is what, 15, 20, 30 minutes now?
Yeah. But they say for YouTube, do you guys know the little trick on there?
No.
That's what we're trying to build it on YouTube because we haven't had much success on there, but like key things, that people are asking, talking about.
Yeah.
And so if you can ask those specific things in your podcast,
Like what? Send us a note.
hot topics, then it's
My
relevant and
sister-in-law
you'll
was
get more
giving me
views.
that. She got that at the back of a book. She said, here's 10 questions that they ask the celebrities every time they come on to all the hot talk shows or podcasts.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, we don't do that.
That's boring.
Yeah, I said,
I'm not doing that.
You're like,
I'm gonna do it my way.
You're like, I don't care. I'll get my views my way.
Yeah,
I will.
right. We're gonna
Eventually.
change the protocols.
I do know that shorts are very important though on YouTube.
Shorts.
So the verticals.
Okay.
And just make little short vertical ones that are like how long? Like 30 to no more than what?
Minute.
No more than a minute. Yeah.
I'm not savvy with all that stuff, but people around me are, so that's good.
Yeah. I'm not really either. We're just going after it.
Yeah.
God will put it all
Honestly,
in. He'll make it all work.
That's the truth. Like I truly believe if you get up and do the right thing every day
Yeah.
and have a reason to be doing it, everything will fall into place.
Then you're not working. Purpose and passion.
That's it.
That's it.
Exactly.
And you're not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You live in a
I
dream at
truly
that point.
believe that.
Yeah.
I do take things people say though, and try to make adjustments because maybe that's God talking to me. I can't be closed off to stuff, but I probably wouldn't do what your cousin said or whatever.
No.
The certain questions.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be boring because my thing with this podcast is whatever happens in the podcast, because we don't edit anything, right? So whatever happens in the podcast is what God wanted us to air. So I keep it that way.
That's smart.
And no topic. I don't come in with any, and no agenda. It's nice when I don't know people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had no idea about your story at all. Like nothing.
It's like one little part.
Yeah.
Of it, yeah.
It's like when I don't know, it's kind of interesting for me, and I get to shut up a little bit and not talk so much. When it's somebody I know, like Andrew coming in here, I know Andrew really well.
Yeah.
So like we chit chat a lot more. So it was really good.
But it will work that way, because you're doing it the way you feel that you're being pushed to do it spiritually and what works for you. And because of that, it'll be successul.
Right.
Well, thanks, you guys.
Nice. Thank you.
It's a lot of
you.
fun.
Lot of
All
fun.
right. Cool.
All right, pictures. Don't move.
Oh, okay.